Rusty, have you been telling stories again?
Jan, I've been telling stories my whole life, and that's why I'm so excited to have the master storyteller himself on our show this week, Ulrich Sollenberger.
Not only is he one of Melalani's most ardent supporters, he's definitely one of the most interesting folks you'll ever meet.
And Jan and I are going to discuss how important it is to tell your own story in Rusty's senior moment.
One of the most fascinating things about doing the Rusty and Jan show is how it's uncovered the untold stories of many of our friends.
And going out with Rusty and Jan will be about all the activities that are blooming this spring.
So, if you're ready, let's get started with
The
Rusty and Jan Show.
When the world comes crashing down on us, they're always there, and they're always happy company because they care, oh yes they care, and when you need to take out pain, well no one else will do. Got them go on Zoom, thank God there are friends like you. I said thank God there are friends like you.
So, speaking of stories, here's a story that you may have heard about my grandfather. This is Pop's train.
I was driving down Route 55, heading for the Jersey Shore, when the traffic began to slow, like every summer before. I saw a sign for Tuckahoe Station down a dusty lane. I reflected on my childhood as I dreamt about Pop's train. My grandpop was a conductor on the Pennsylvania seashore line. He rolled from Philly to Cape May, and the shoebox lunch was mine. Pop would punch your ticket as we sped by trees and towns. His playful smile and pleasant way could overturn your summer frown. We'd board Pop's train in Camden, then we traveled down the track. It made some stops along the way as we brought those shoebies back. I called at each station, Ocean City, Wildwood, Cape May, and the sea and sand would call us on a Jersey summer day. Once we had a meaningful trip, the final one for my pop. This night he would retire, but not before that special stop. He took me to the engine where I made that whistle blow. His conductor days came to a close in a town called Tuckahoe. I headed down that dusty lane until I reached its end. That was when I saw her, my forgotten childhood friend. I climbed inside and found that seat, same one like before. Thought back to my younger years and my trips down to the shore. I closed my eyes, I could feel the rumbling of that track. Only for a moment, my sweet memories all went back. Pop's train now sits and rusts away. Her glory days long gone. But she will be remembered every time we sing this song. We'd board Pop's train in Camden, then we'd travel down the track. We made some stops along the way, but we brought those shoebies back. I called down each station, Ocean City, Wildwood, Cape May, and the sea and sand would call us on a Jersey summer day. We'd board Pop's train in Camden, then we traveled down that track. We made some stops along the way, but then the beach would call us back. I called down each station, Ocean City, Wildwood, Cape May, and the sea and sand will call us on a Jersey summer day. And now it's time for Giggin' with Jan.
Welcome to Going Out with Rusty and Jan. We have an exciting lineup of guests for the upcoming weeks on the Rusty and Jan Show. On April 26th, we are proud to present Morgan Alexa.
Oh my. She was just a mere child when she and her family first came out to the Melilani Cafe and blew us all away at the open mic.
And now she's going off to college this fall. Can you believe that?
I can't believe it. I guess I'm old too.
Yeah, no.
That
Me
all
too.
adds up, I guess. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, anyhow, on May 3rd, we're pleased to have Marsha Lowe.
Yes, and it'll be great to get the lowdown from her.
Oh, Jan made it funny. Did you get
Ah!
that?
Then on May 10th, we'll talk to Lisa Jeanette about her new album, Jellyfish on the Moon.
It's a great album. We listen to it all the time.
Yeah.
Jan, why don't you tell us about the news in our community?
Okay. Venues are reopening everywhere as more people are becoming vaccinated. Melilani Cafe is continuing to have outdoor performances. Please contact me if you are interested in scheduling something. This week, we'll feature two of Melilani's most dedicated artists. Keith Shaw will perform on April the 24th from 1 to 4, and then on April the 25th, we'll feature Charles Nolan from 1 to 4. Make sure you go out and support them and have some of George's yummy food. Our open mic will continue online until we are certain that it is safe to be in person.
One way or another, we're going to be out there. So,
The Cosmic Cafe on Boathouse Row has also started booking outdoor performances, and Rusty and I are playing there on April the 25th from 12 to 3:30. We hope to see you out there.
and whenever we're playing anywhere, if you're around and if you want to come by and maybe play a song, you're always welcome to do that because that's just how we do things. So, we hope that we'll see you.
Absolutely.
Here's the latest on this season's festivals. The first is Philadelphia Folk Song Society's Spring Thing, which will be held on May 28th through the 31st. This will be a virtual event. Details can be found on the pfs.org page. The Philadelphia Folk Festival will also take place on August 19th through the 22nd. As we understand it, it is set as a virtual event as well. But there are rumors that it may happen in person depending on COVID restrictions. We'll keep you in the loop about that as we get confirmations. In the meantime, visit Philadelphia Folk Song Society's pfs.org for all the latest news. We're extremely pleased to announce that X-Fest will be a live event. It'll take place September 17th and 18th at the Country Creek Winery. For more information, visit xfsmusic.org. And speaking of live events, it looks like the Philadelphia Folk Song Society's Fall Fling is actually going to happen as a live event on October 1st through the 3rd. They'll have some limited attendance to adhere to because of Montgomery County's Board of Health protocol. So don't delay, get your tickets right away. Jan and I are, of course, going to be at all of these events,
Absolutely.
and we're going to be glad to see you one way or another.
And we're excited to be working again with our senior center friends at Atria and Wesley Enhanced Living. We've recently also started working with our good friend Randy Shupp at Gaslight Productions, and we have some upcoming performances in the works. Now it's time to see what George is cooking up at Melanie Cafe this week. It's time for George's Corner!
Hey everybody, and welcome to George's Corner. I'd like to thank Rusty and Jan for having me on today, and also for them hosting open mic every Thursday virtually. That's going really strong still and has wonderful musicians. So thank you, Rusty and Jan, for doing such a great job. Jan and Rusty are also booking the music here, and we have some plans coming up for the summer. So we're just still working on that so that we can finalize booking the garden. We had Eric this Saturday and Paul on Sunday, and Eric is actually our guest today, so he was here playing on Saturday, and it was such a treat to have him. So can't wait to see him, what he has to say. I used to live with Eric with Dexter at Dexter's family's house, so we're old roommates, and we always, folk fest, we camp together, we play a lot of music together when we can. Unfortunately, Eric has moved away a little bit further, but he's still going to be around once he gets his car situated and stuff. So, but also today I brought you to the garden, so I'm going to let you see. This is the space that we're going to be, using. And here's a better view. Set up the musicians here. Like I said, thank you, Rush and Jan, for having me. Just wanted to show you guys the open space. So there's a couple of clips for you. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
And now it's time for Rusty's Senior Moment.
Rusty, will you tell me a story?
What makes you think I have a story?
Because everyone has a story.
That's true. That's right, Jan. That's the theme for this week's segment.
Storytelling.
Well, I think everybody realizes that storytelling has been a part of how history has been recorded.
Especially before the printing press.
In folk music history, we had the advantage of story capturers like Alan Lomax. He traveled into the Appalachian Mountains to record much of the folk music that was passed down in American history.
Yes, and we have him to thank for finding Leadbelly.
Mm-hmm. In today's world, we see much of our singer-songwriter community discussing the tales of their own life experiences in artistic and melodic ways.
Not to mention the time-held tradition of expressing views about social consciousness and topical issues.
We recently had a situation at the Melanie open mic over a noise complaint. Suddenly, we could not have live music. We quickly had to switch over to a spoken word format and began to see the live exposed from people we had known for many years. All at once, their stories came alive, and our relationships actually became deeper.
Telling your story can be a very personal experience and that much more meaningful to the person that you're offering it to.
That experience inspired us to have the Spotlight section for our featured artist every week on the Rusty and Jan Show. We hope you've enjoyed these stories.
Speaking of the Spotlight section, we had the pleasure of interviewing storyteller Eric Sollenberger, and this is how it went.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're in for a treat. This guy coming up as our special guest this week is he's not your average singer-songwriter. That's all I need to say. So you get a big surprise when you get to hear the life and times of Eric Schlossenberger. So, it seems like a lot of the people we've interviewed, they start playing guitar around, I don't know, 16, 17, and helps them meet girls. When did you first start playing guitar?
28.
At age 28?
Wow.
Uh-huh. That's not
Yeah,
late.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, yeah.
See, we learned something new about
I
Eric.
fiddled like I picked up a guitar a couple times, played some chords, but I started learning songs and actually attempting to play. Yeah, when I was 28.
Why? What happened then at 28?
Um, Actually, it was a little bit before I was getting married, and I had originally planned to live in, I was living in California, came back to the East Coast and planned to paint a couple buildings and go back out west. And that never happened. And I just, I decided one day it clicked that that I actually could probably play some music, because I told myself I wasn't any good. I shouldn't even try, these negative things that we tell ourselves sometimes. And, something just shifted, and I figured out G, C, and D, and was like, wait, I can play 20 songs with these three chords. And I bought a Bob Dylan songbook, and the rest is history.
The rest is the same as everyone else I ever met.
Yeah, pretty much.
We all had that Bob Dylan songbook, you know.
Yes. Well, some of these younger folk these days never had that Bob Dylan songbook.
Yeah.
But
No,
They had
I
Queen.
digress.
they
Yeah.
may not even have had that. They probably, I don't even know. But
But
so,
at least they got Ariana Grande.
yes, that's who
Oh
they
my
had.
God. I'm not even going to comment.
So when did you start writing music, though?
Um, I wrote my first song when I was about 32, Brand New Day, which is on the album. And what do you know? It's D, C, and G. Um, but started to realize, wow, there's so much that I want to say that I can't seem to say in other ways.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I should just start writing some songs.
Huh.
And
Okay.
the world just seemed to open up. The world of music opened up.
Okay.
Well, how? What was it? You were, I mean, you're an extremely talented artist. You pick up your multi-instrumentalist, have two or three different styles on the guitar. Um, uh, what is it that you feel in your music, and how are you influenced to make that music?
Um, I've Music has been a profound influence in my life since before I could speak. Um, my stepdad used to put on Little Feat when I was 3, and
Oh, okay.
I would just kind of, you know, this
Yeah.
in the living room while he would dance around. And that's also why, one of the early influences of music was hearing slide. And we had my parents being latter-day hippies. We had quite the album collection. And at night when I would be making dinner with my mom, we'd be listening to Stevie Wonder or Bill Withers in the kitchen while preparing. And music always seemed to kind of save me when I was feeling emotionally overwhelmed. There would be some songs that would make me feel better. And I started to just see the power of music. And so when I was able to start putting into words the feelings that I had and the things that I was thinking about, and that people weren't completely turned off by it and like
I was.
telling me to stop playing, you know, I was like, ooh. And, you know, as you said, I'm an artist, so the two kind of go hand in hand for me.
Yeah,
Right, which
yeah.
we're going to touch on later on in the
Right.
interview.
Yeah.
But tell me
Okay.
something. How did your father get shoes for little feet?
Um, you know, those little, you know, you can buy those really cool little baby shoes, right?
Oh,
Oh
okay,
my
that's cool.
God. Moving on. A couple of years ago, you put out an album called Motivations. So tell us about that.
It was a labor of love. And
Usually is.
I always wanted to make an album, and found that either somebody was telling me, oh yeah, I'll make an album for you, 10 grand. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe once in my life did I ever have 10 grand in one lump sum at one time. So I continued just making the music and working with Hero in Germantown. We started doing a lot of recording, and I literally went over to his place and laid the drum track and either guitar or mandolin parts in an hour and 20 minutes for the 9 songs. And then had, you know, called people that I wanted to have on the album, like you, Rusty, doing some backup vocals, and Jan
Ooh.
doing wonderful flute and sax. And even had a problem like the bass player wasn't coming to record. So myself and Hero did all the bass parts for the entire album, and I had never picked up a bass before. So, you know, but the album got done, and the sound, I was rather happy with the sound and how it turned out. And just, you know, was able to actually release it, which I was actually doubting shortly before releasing it. I was like, I don't even know if all this is going to work. And so making the album was, you know, I was hopeful, but I wasn't sure. And went through the process, didn't really get hung up or have it lag. And, you know, once got the copyright and it was actually uploaded on 300 platforms, I breathed a sigh of relief and did have a fun listening party where some of the Scene Collective members, we did the whole album at kind of a house party, as
Yep,
well as
we were there.
Yeah, tell us
some
a
other
little bit.
stuff. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Hero and the Scene Collective.
Well, I've had a vision for a very long time of kind of like minds, people that kind of want to live the same way and do the same things, working together and doing what they do best. And, you know, music for me, music and art, and each person being able to contribute their talents to make the whole bigger and better. And so there, you know, I learned a lot along the way, and there were definitely a lot of ups and downs, but Hero had done plenty of recording and designed a lot of music in the hip hop genre, and he was willing to take on the challenge, and a lot of other folks weren't. So we started we started really doing some recording, and the Scene Collective um, developed from that idea and speaking with Hero. So we actually had made I designed a manifesto, and that the people that were going to be part of it signed that they were agreeing that this is what they wanted to do, and um, you know, had practices and brought 13 musicians together to make a bunch of music.
Mm-hmm.
And it was quite wonderful. And times and situations have changed. So um, now things have taken a different direction, and I actually am planning to do most of my recording myself in
Good.
Okay.
the near future.
Yeah. Now, I got to tell you, I can't even step outside my front door without someone stopping me and saying, "Where did you get that jacket?" Tell us a little bit about your artistic abilities.
And how you feel your art influences your music and vice versa.
Mhm.
Ah, um, the art started early. I was drawing pictures for my mom when I could just hold crayons, and I did art on the side in the background. And then when it was high school time, we moved from South Jersey to Philly, and I went to Creative and Performing Arts High School. So I had 3 art classes a day, and figure drawing and visual arts, graphic arts, sculpture, and it was like a whole new world opened up to me. And over the years, I strayed away from that for a while, but I started um, painting clothes because I had a favorite pair of jeans that I got a big stain on, and they were expensive. They were like Gerbeau jeans. This is a while ago, folks. And I painted them, and people were like, "Wow, that's great!" Like, what? And I was like, "Look, I just did to cover the stain." And and people started asking me, "Oh, would you do a little design on my leg?" And I would use a Bic pen and draw on their jeans or something. And I just started painting clothing, and the whole idea of wearable art is I just love it because you can wear a piece of artwork, and
We're walking billboards for you.
Yeah. Man.
yeah, and you can. I mean, you can have that piece of artwork for life.
That's right. That's
And
right.
yeah, the paint will wear away and stuff, but the design is still there. I have jeans that I painted 30 years ago still,
Right.
and the
Makes
image
that
is
character.
clear.
Yeah.
So, but what I found was as the music was developing, I was still doing the art, and I found that I started really like realizing all the art that I had seen in regards to music and how much I love that. A lot of the wild stuff with the Grateful Dead and the Allman Brothers and Yes. And I would look at these album covers and I was like, wow, why not do the art to support the music and do the music to support the art? And um, didn't know how I was going to do it. But as time is going on, the two really kind of speak to each other. Whatever I can't say in words in a song, I can say with a paintbrush
Makes sense.
It does.
Speaking
or
of
a
a song,
pencil or charcoal or
that's right. How about you play us a song?
I would love to do that. All right, so I'm going to do a song that I love doing. That is on the album. It's called "Why You Gonna Do Me Like That." It's a little bluesy piece. So I started playing slide because after hand surgeries and a lot of body damage, I found that I couldn't make the stretches and do bar chords on a regular guitar, and always loved the slide. So this was the way to adapt with the situation, and thankful for it. down the gun, put down the knife. No solution with that fight. See, he woke up feeling alone in his head and in his home. Voices in his head begin and breathe. Hopelessness makes it hard to perceive just what this crazy world expects of me. Are you gonna give in? Act like you've been up to nothing. Let love creep in, change your perspective and function. Heart opens like the petals of a flower. Then everyone sees as dejected has become false to be reckoned. Fight, don't let them win. Fight, this is where love begins. Fight, 'cause you have the right to get all you can out of life. Fight. Yeah, it can get lonely out there without anyone to work with. Lord knows we're all here for a purpose. I can tell you it ain't violent. Shooting kids in the streets. People dying, starving with no relief. Running fields to feed cattle. When people are treated like chattel. Lord knows it's a messed up situation. Said fine, don't let them win. Fine, this is where love begins. Fine, 'cause you have the right to get all you can out of life. Fine. All right.
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Oh, thanks. Thank you so much.
See?
So let's talk about your background in storytelling. I know that we've had this
Ah,
conversation. Yeah. Um, I know that you said to me that everybody has a story and that you were involved in trying to encourage people to tell that story.
yes, life is a story, and every day there's a new story. And by learning to be able to speak about my life, and tell my story, I learned that um, I was able to not have to feel so much shame and guilt about mistakes of the past, things that I didn't do right. By being able to literally talk about it in front of a room full of people that I didn't know, and share that information, I started to learn that when people talk and tell their story, whatever it is, there's always something within somebody's story that others can relate to, even if it's only a couple aspects.
Right.
And it opens up communication. It allows for people to, I don't know, find solutions in places where previously there wasn't a solution. It was just a fight. And I found that, I saw myself and another fellow and two others started a storytelling training business. And we ran storytelling trainings for 6 years. And with the overhead of the Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Services in Philadelphia. And it was very wonderful. And I thoroughly enjoyed doing it. And I'm still trying to figure out different ways to kind of use that stuff, being that I was officially disabled. And so most agencies won't say take me on. But the storytelling, like that's what songs are too.
That is
Um,
true.
every song is a story. And some are deep, some are hard, some are
Beautiful.
I don't know, beautiful, and some are just downright silly. But all of it is a story. And so singing is storytelling. Writing music is storytelling. And so the fact that that was an integral part of my life, it's still being involved in what I do every day.
And you're also a counselor, and I think storytelling lends into that service as well.
Yes, I was a recovery coach for 3 years with the city, with the Department of Mental Health Services, um, for southeastern Pennsylvania. And then for 3 years before that, I was a recovery specialist at Girard Medical Center.
Uh,
And yeah, I ran groups. I talked people down. I went out to people's houses, and um, you'd be surprised. There are people in the city that have never left 4 block radius
oh my
of the
God.
city.
I can
That
believe it.
they don't know how to take a bus. They
Right.
they don't know where the social security office is. So I would take them and teach them how to ride the bus and show them how to do things that they were too scared to do because they had never left that area.
Sure.
And
Must be
um,
very gratifying.
oh God, yes, to see somebody happy and doing better is just it lights me up. I love it. I love to see happy people. I want everybody thriving and happy and doing what they love doing.
Well, I have to tell you, that's one of the best parts of being involved with Mililani. Every week, people come there and they're happy to be there. It's like they're home again. And yeah, to be part of making that happen is just probably one of the best things I ever did in my life.
And not only that, the people that have been coming to the open mic for a bunch of years, I mean, we can see their growth. It's
Yeah,
every week they're getting better.
yeah,
And so over time, you can
Yes.
see somebody comes in there, they're just getting started in their music, and then 2 or 3 years later, they're playing whole songs and writing and everything else. So it's very gratifying.
Oh,
we have.
absolutely. And to watch that grow, to be a part of that, I, you know, I was
Oh,
like, absolutely no regrets. You know, the fact that you guys met me at an open mic that I was hosting and said, "Yeah, you should check out this one in Mount Airy." And I'm like, "Funny, I just moved to Mount Airy, and that was 6 years ago, I think."
And the very next week, you were at our open mic.
That's right, and I never left.
Yeah.
Well, here's a kind of a fun question for you. If you
Okay.
could open for any artist, dead or alive, who would it be?
And you can't count Rusty and Jam because you can always open for us.
Yeah, and you have on a regular basis.
Okay, so choice A, Derek Trucks.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Derek Trucks, and then second choice, Billy Strings.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he loves Billy Strings.
I know, he's a beast.
He's a beast. But if I had to choose between him and Molly Tuttle, well, I'll take Molly on for other reasons.
Hey,
Uh,
have you listened to her, Eric? Molly Tuttle?
Oh yeah.
I've only heard a very tiny bit.
Oh, you should listen more. If you like Billy Strings, you'll like Molly Tuttle.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, I'll YouTube it tonight and
Mhm.
watch a couple shows.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
But Derek Trucks, I mean, I've always loved slide, but what he does with the slide, I never heard anything quite like that. I never heard anybody do that with a slide.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I remember you're picking up the slide. I remember that you went to Spring Thing. It was just after you'd had your hand surgery.
Yeah.
And you, I remember you spent a lot of time with Scott.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and,
Similar situation.
Yeah, yeah. Scott.
That was a lot of fun. And like, that was kind of a turning point where I was like, hey, well, I can do this. If I can't do that, I'll
Right.
just do this. But what I'm learning is there is so much that can be done with that slide. There are so many nuances and things about tone and stopping notes. And it's just like, I'll be forever learning for
Right.
sure.
And it comes back to what we were just talking about. Witnessing the growth of another musician.
Yeah.
We watched that happen. We knew you when all you did was just play rhythm guitar, and now you've taken on, slide guitar and mandolin and all kinds of other interesting things like that. So,
Dad tuning.
Yep, Dagad.
Well, I often think about Morgan when she first came to us. She was 11, and now she's going off to college.
Yeah, she's our guest for next week. So.
And at the same time,
Oh, really?
yeah,
I'm definitely gonna. So she's
too
your
young
guest
you.
for next week. So the
No.
following week,
Right, so not the 19th, the 26th.
She's too young for you. And then the other people have been some of the other people that we get. They're in their 90s, so that's the other joy of the Mililani Cafe is that
never too old, never too young.
never too disabled either. It's just always been a very open, loving environment.
Right, one big, happy, loving family over
Yeah.
there.
No matter
Yes,
what's
with
wrong
some-
you.
Damn good food.
Yeah,
It's like our own little island of misfits,
yeah, exactly.
Yes, we are. That's the Melani is the island of misfit toys.
Yes, exactly.
That's right. That's what I meant. So before we have you play another song, do you have a website or anything like that? How would people find your music if they wanted to buy it?
Okay, so the album Motivations is on 300 platforms. So Amazon, Deezer, iTunes,
Okay.
Spotify, Pandora. It's available all of those places. The last time I searched it on Google, it popped up and Sting popped up right next to me. So I was like, wow, that's kind of
Right.
cool.
That's- yeah.
So, and there have been some album sales. But little did I know that you have to, I had everything in place, but I didn't have what's it called? A publisher?
Publicist, I think is what.
Publicist. So I had to, do all of that and go through that and then do numbers and codes and stuff. So, I'll actually be able to see just how many albums sold very soon. But some people have been letting me know that they purchased it and that they love it. So that's fantastic. And it's, it's easily gotten. And in fact, a lot of the apps and whatnot, you can buy a song,
Yes.
um, or the entire album or a couple songs. So
I do it
it
all the
gives you
time.
options.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Well, why don't you play it then?
The name of the song is You Could Be Singing, um, mandolin, and it is about the fact that you could always be singing. Like sometimes life is gonna suck or present all kinds of things that you weren't prepared for, but you can kind of change any situation. And like, honestly, even if I'm angry and somebody hurt me and I do some music and maybe it's like a hard blues, well, guess what? I feel better by the time I'm done that. And the idea is like, you could always be singing. So why not?
Yeah, that's right.
I like that message.
Do you ever want to open your eyes and realize you could be singing? Life is way too short to let it pass you by, so I say bring it. We work ourselves to death for what debt when you could be singing. As time flows, the lines flow, my head is swimming. Miss the details of life's ebb and flow with the unimportant. Live your life, write your words, paint your soul, find your worth, feel it, you're gonna have to deal with it eventually. As time rolls on, gotta give in to the energy. When you're gonna wake up, you learn to love again. Your life is your own, you just have to stand up and take the reins. Instead of complaining about what people saying, how about you do something? Like take your life, put it in a song and sing it. Live your life, write your words, paint your soul, find your worth, feel it, you're gonna have to deal with it eventually. As time rolls on, gotta give in to the energy. Wake up, wake up, wake up, start singing, wake up, said wake up, wake up, start singing, wake up, I said wake up, start singing, get out of your bed, drag a comb through your hair, start singing.
Oh,
So that one's
right.
called
Wow.
You
I
Could
like
Be
that
Singing.
one.
And it really like it's kind of like the words kind of hit on almost everything we talked about today.
Cool. I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Eric, thank you for being on our show.
Yes.
Well, it has been an absolute joy. Thank you for having me on your show.
You are very welcome.
And I get to see you both
Yes.
at the same time again, besides the Wednesday night thing, and whenever I catch you on another open mic thing online, which is always joy.
Right? Likewise.
Thank you so much.
Oh no, no, no! You definitely deserve it. You're a special, a warm part of the Melalani Cafe and everything that we do as Rusty and Jan. And we're so proud to have you as a friend and as a guest on the Rusty and Jan show.
I am happy and proud to be your friend, and you're my second dad.
Ah.
Oh.
Well, thank you for that. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Eric.
I love you guys.
Love
Love
you
you
Have
too,
a
buddy.
beautiful night.
You too.
Thanks again, folks, for tuning in to episode 12. We hope you enjoyed it.
We really do appreciate all your support every week, not just for the Rusty and Jan show, but the open mic and all the projects we're involved with.
Absolutely. Please like and subscribe to Rusty and Jan on media platforms such as YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter.
And here's a story written by our dear friend Steve Coulette about the last man executed in the Florida electric chair.
It's based on a true story, and sadly, they later determined that he had been wrongly accused.
This is the story of Old Sparky.
I got a date with old Sparky. Something that I never done. Been frying my bones, that's the governor bones. Tells the warden I ain't the one. My lawyer sent word he can't help me. They gone down and turned down my appeal. So it looks like I'm dead, and I'm sorry, he said. Now the guards are bringing me my last meal. I got a date with old Sparky. I ain't going nowhere. Later tonight with the moon shining bright in the Florida electric chair. I got a date with old Sparky. Maybe it's not as bad as it seems, 'cause when they throw the switch, it'll be over quick. Put an end to these horrible dreams. like the one when I'm in that courtroom. The judge asked the jury to stand, and though the jury gave life, the judge thought it unwise. I got death from old Maximum Dan. I got a date with old Sparky. We ain't going anywhere. Later tonight, with the moon shining bright, in the Florida electric chair. In the Florida electric chair.